Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and your XRP just got regulated, son. Take a look at this. There's an article here titled XRP Tipbot Moves Towards Regulations with Break-Even Strategy. And indeed, here's a tweet from Wietse Wind, creator of the XRP Tipbot. He's also the creator of XRPL Labs, which is funded through Ripple's Spring initiatives. And he wrote a piece about regulating the XRP Tipbot thanks to some changes that are coming down the pike here. So I'm going to go through that. I've also got an article which is definitely, unquestionably, very interesting. It's from Daily Hodl. Crypto page-turner chronicles trader who made millions in Ethereum. And indeed, there's this guy, and he was borrowing money. I'm sure he's not the only person to do this, but in this case, it worked for him. He was borrowing lots of money against his home, and he was buying Ethereum at very low prices. I'll share with you the specifics towards the end of the video. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. It's not the worst way to spend your time. Close to it, but not the very worst. So here's the blog from Wietse Wind on Coil, regulating the XRP Tipbot. And these are some cool stats. Check this out. With almost 60,000 unique accounts in the XRP Tipbot database, a little under 700,000 tips processed, and close to 2 million XRP tipped, I believe I can rightfully say my hobby project got a bit out of hand. Yeah, that's fair. That's a funny way to phrase it. Yes. While some other crypto communities witness their tip bots go out of service because of limited usage or creators fearing for regulation, the usage of the XRP Tipbot increased. The XRP community embraced the XRP Tipbot big time, celebrating positivity and generosity. I'm proud beyond words to see how generous the XRP community members are. How people send some of their XRP across the world in seconds to help others out, sponsor charities, and show their appreciation. I didn't implement some much requested features to make sure the XRP Tipbot would stay a hobby project. Imagine deposits and withdrawals in fiat, tips with notes and higher tip limits, allowing a use case for payments and remittance, etc. Amazing features, but they could and would slowly spin the XRP Tipbot into a business. I felt pretty comfortable operating the XRP Tipbot as a hobby project, even while usage increased and the amount of XRP in custody stacked up. I'm living in the Netherlands, and crypto regulation wasn't a thing just yet. Of course, I always knew things would change at some point in time. Then, at the 3rd of July this year, the Dutch government announced things were about to change for crypto businesses and projects. And indeed, so this is coming. And I suppose in hindsight, it's not too surprising. But governments the world over are going to be getting their hands in this stuff. Check this out. So 2020 mandatory registration. Okay, in the Netherlands, the DNB, the Dutch bank, is entrusted with the supervision and regulation of entities involving in moving money. If you want to get an e-money license, start a bank, start a currency exchange business, etc., you have to get a license from the DNB. They are tasked with license issuance, audits, investigations in case of suspected wrongdoing, etc. Countries in the European Union are obliged to comply with the new AML D5 rules starting in January 10th of 2020, as they need to tighten up their processes to prevent money laundering and the financing of terrorism. All right, so there's that. Let me scroll a little bit further, because this thing is really long, and I don't want to go through the entirety of this. I just was trying to hit some of the parts that I thought were most interesting in this. Here we go. Here's a quote from him. One thing is sure, the Wild West days of cryptocurrency are ending. And I believe that is a good thing. That's what he writes. And I definitely firmly agree with that. I'm okay with being done with the Wild West version of crypto. That's perfectly reasonable. I want the maturation of the asset class to increase at a faster pace. Anyway, while regulation may create new barriers to entering the world of programmable money, I believe the only way to get through this phase of development and adoption is to gain lots of trust and credibility from the general public. Companies, founders, and developers can now show they are in this for the long run, leading the way. And he writes, I fully intend to comply with the Dutch law and soon-to-be implemented crypto regulation. I see this as an opportunity to learn, professionalize, and take things to the next level. While I'm at it, I believe this is a great opportunity to converge some other projects like XR Parrot into one amazing XRP-focused platform. Keywords are fun and usability, the key factors that contributed to the success of XRP Tipbot and XR Parrot. Right, so glimpse of the future. So it all comes down to this is intense. It's funny because they're talking about, and then again, this was a hobby project, and now we're talking, and he has a subheading, a glimpse of the future. We're talking about being compliant in terms of KYC and AML. Now we're actually talking about that. Usually when we're talking about KYC and AML on this channel, I'm talking about Ripple's compliance, because of course this is an XRP centric channel, and that topic comes up all the time. Now we're talking about it with freaking XRP Tipbot, right? Oh Lord. Anyway, so KYC and AML, onboarding, deposits, and withdrawals. I intend to keep the Tipbot easily accessible, but there will be some changes adding a few steps before one can start using the XRP Tipbot. Right now, all you need to get started with the Tipbot is a Twitter, Reddit, or Discord account, and some balance that may even already be available to you because another user already tipped you. Which is funny, yeah, you can have balances available. That's why it was so funny when there were articles over the summer about how President of the United States, Donald Trump, owns XRP because it was just given to him, and he couldn't really say no. Anyway, no point beating around the bush here. There will be mandatory KYC to start using the XRP Tipbot. However, KYC will be part of an even bigger change. XRP Tipbot accounts. Yes, indeed, XRP Tipbot accounts. Users will have to register one XRP Tipbot account, linking their social media accounts to their one XRP Tipbot account. This means you can link your Twitter, Reddit, and Discord profiles, even a multitude of them, to one XRP Tipbot account, sharing one Tipbot balance. So that's pretty much the gist of it. I don't want to go through, again, like I said, this whole thing is very long, but those are the most important parts of what you need to know is coming, and we'll see how the implementation of this takes full, but it's going to be coming much sooner than later, and since so many of out there listening I know absolutely are using the XRP Tipbot, it's definitely been adopted by the community. This will certainly be effectiveness to one degree or another, but again, hey, it's in the end, it's ultimately progress, even if it's kind of annoying. Well, just think about it, because now, because he even talked in here, he did, like we'd say, when he acknowledged that there's the possibility. And I didn't read this part, but it was in here somewhere. He shared a concern about perhaps this type of change could result in a reduction in the usage of the XRP Tipbot, things like so. I certainly hope that's not the case, but more red tape there is. I get what he's saying, so we shall see. All right, take a look at this. This is from Richard Holland here, all right? And he's the creator of Toast Wallet, among other things, and he's definitely a proponent for XRP, so check this out. If a Hot Pocket contracts, Hot Pockets, now try Lean Pockets too. Every time I read that, that is what I think of, those little delicious pastries. Well, I don't know if they're delicious, but I tell you what, when I was a teenager, I liked them. Who was that skit? Was it Jim Gaffigan who has a skit about Hot Pockets? And he's like, oh, yes, Hot Pockets. It's something to the effect of scalding hot on the outside, frozen on the inside. Yes. Anyway, Richard Holland writes, this is a different Hot Pocket. Anyway, if a Hot Pocket contract detects one of its UNL nodes goes offline, theoretically, it could go onto the Codius marketplace and buy more hosting using its own XRP ledger address it exclusively controls and propagate itself to that new hosting and adjust its UNL. And then he asks, am I building Skynet? Well, I have no idea what the hell you just wrote there, but I'd say the answer is probably yes. I have no idea what the hell that means. All right, seriously. And somebody out there, there's like one person in the audience that knew exactly what that guy meant. Because he's like the, in terms of the coding and this and that. I don't know how that works. I don't know. But conceptually, I get I'm acting like I'm more stupid than I actually am. I do get that he's talking about, if it goes offline, just the ability to utilize the XRP ledger, put itself back online. That's about as much as I got out of it, though. So there's that. So I just thought it was funny. He wrote, "Am I building Skynet?" And then he's got this little GIF from Terminator here. So yeah, I think you are. I'm pretty sure that you are. All right, last thing in this video, and this is interesting. Crypto Page Turner chronicles trader who made millions in Ethereum. Dan Conway released Confessions of a Crypto Millionaire, My Unlikely Escape from Corporate America on September 9th. The memoir chronicles his days of misery in Silicon Valley to elation as an Ethereum investor during the cryptocurrency's wild ride from $14 to over $1,000. The father of three, who professes he was failing in his career, says he was given a choice: dump his life savings into Ethereum or disappear into the madness of the corporate ladder and a debilitating chain of command. In a summary of his new book, published on The Hustle, Conway sums up the wildest of rides trading cryptocurrency after he decided to bet away his family's savings and his kids' college money out of sheer desperation. The goal was to turn his $100,000 gamble into an escape hatch for life. And before I cover any more, I got to say, I know it worked out for him. This was terribly irresponsible. Don't, oh my God, people. Don't, first of all, I want to be, I hope nobody thinks that they can just mimic this in any capacity by investing in, into crypto. Not to this degree. This is just my humble opinion. It's not that I'm offering financial advice because I don't have a financial background. I'm saying don't be stupid and risking everything that you have, in any one asset. To me, that's nonsensical. So it makes for a cool story, and I'm going to give you the rest of the specifics here, but oh my God, no. So he writes, quote, I was a 45-year-old middle manager at a major multimedia company in San Francisco. Though I earned a respectable $150,000 per year, I hated the fake company culture, the bureaucracy, and the endless chains of command. And then the article continues. Conway's LinkedIn page shows he worked at AT&T in San Francisco for 6 years, where he managed communications, grassroots advocacy, corporate social responsibility, and political strategy for California. The job sent him into the arms of a cryptocurrency exchange after he and his wife agreed that he'd risk their life savings and emergency funds on a new cryptocurrency called Ethereum, which was trading for $14. Here's a quote. I swiveled open the two gigantic doors, walked up to the counter, and explained to the teller that I needed to send a money wire to Gemini Trust Company, LLC, a cryptocurrency exchange based in New York City. He knew about Bitcoin, but Ethereum seemed like the smart play. Here's another quote. I'd heard about Bitcoin years earlier when I was preoccupied with climbing the corporate ladder. Back then, it seemed ludicrous to spend money, real currency that I could hold in my hands, on some digital token that existed on a public ledger in the cloud. To be frank, I thought it was complete BS. Blockchain, the technology underlying Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies, promised to one day decentralize corporations. As TechCrunch wrote, it would offer the stability of an organization but without the hierarchy. It seemed almost too good to be true, but a lot of smart, future-forward people were getting behind it. That's his quote. And then moving forward here, check this out. And the rest is history. Except for the extreme volatility after going all in, Ethereum instantly tanked, decimating his original $100,000 investment to under $40,000. He doubled down, convinced Ethereum would take off, and borrowed money against his home. Here's a quote from him now. That winter, I borrowed $200,000 on my home and used it to buy more Ethereum. I now owned 26,750 ETH total, at an average buy-in of $11.21 per coin, and I was $300,000 in the hole. Oh my God. I'm sure the vast majority of you listening agree with me that this is pure insanity. This is beyond ridiculous. Whoa. Conway is now fielding at least one offer from a Hollywood producer to tell the story of his bank account's epic rise to millions of dollars. Look, I'm glad this worked out for him. I really am. I don't want to see bad times befall anybody, but wow, this was stupid. They probably should make this into a movie. Anyway, because mind you, there's all sorts of people that did this in 2017 in December, similar things. Bet money, with the equity in their homes and all that. And they're not doing so hot right now. So this, gosh, and I know technically, it's my belief. I suspect that Bitcoin's not done doing what it's doing in terms of price action. It'll probably be worth way more in the future. But even so, think about it. If you invest that in December of 2017, where are you now? Anyway, so here we go. Did I just read that sentence? Conway is now fielding at least one offer from a Hollywood producer to tell the story of his bank account's epic rise to millions of dollars. Okay. Then here's a quote. It kept going up and up and up. Between February and March of 2017, Ethereum shot from $15 to $50 per coin. By April, it was at $70. By May, $230. In a span of 4 months, my $300,000 investment ballooned to $6 million. Whew. Conway cashed out before the market plunged. I bet he did. And then he has a book here, and I think that's the gist of it. I probably don't really need to cover the rest of it, but there is more to it. But that's kind of like, I think you got it. He took a huge gamble, cashed out, and then ended up with millions of dollars. Again, there's more to it, but I think that will suffice for the sake of this video. But thank you so much for watching. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!